book and wax friends, it's Amber. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is all about the books that are coming out in December that I'm most interested in reading. So these are my most anticipated reads for the month of December from the brand new books that are coming out. And I do have to say that I actually kind of struggled finding ones that I was interested in. There wasn't a lot, in my opinion, that were of interest to me, but I was able to find 10. I always try to do 10 every month that I do this. So let's jump into it and see what is the most interesting books for the month of December for me. So the first one I have is called A Cruel Thirst, and it's by Angela Montoya. This comes out December 31st, and it is a fantasy romance type of book. And it is about a vampire, which I do love my vampires. So it was one that sounded like it could be good. So this says a fledgling vampire and a headstrong vampire huntress must work together against their better judgment to rid the world of monsters in this irresistible romantic fantasy. So Carolina Fuentes has always wanted to join her family in hunting down the bloodthirsty monsters that plague her pueblo. But these days, her father wants her out of town with a husband of his choosing. That's not happening. Carolina plans to show everyone that what she's made of, and that she'd make a better vampire slayer than a wife. But when she runs into a sediento that is not only handsome but kind, she questions everything. Lalo Villalobos doesn't act on impulses. As the eldest of two, his duties were to carry on the family business, marry, and have children. But then he is turned into a sediento, which obviously must mean vampire, I guess, and must flee the city, taking lives as he goes north, where he believes the first vampire was made. Surely the pueblo there will have the answers to reverse this curse or end vampires altogether. Another unexpected turn, Lalo runs right into a beautiful young woman who'd gladly stake him. So, and then it says they fortunately share a common enemy. They can wipe out this evil together. If his fangs and her fists can stay focused, they might just triumph and discover what it feels like to take a bite out of love. So, could be good. We'll see. The next one is I don't know if this is, yeah, I think this is just a historical romance. It is called The Wrong Lady Meets Lord Right. It comes out December 5th, and it is by Suzanne Allain. And it says, when a young woman trades places with her noble cousin, their innocent ruse leads to true love in this sparkling new Regency-era romantic comedy of manners. When Arabella Grant's wicked aunt dies suddenly, both Arabella and her cousin, Lady Isabel, cannot help but feel relieved. She'd made their lives miserable, and now Lady Izzy is free to read to her heart's content, and Bella is free from taunts about her ignoble birth. Their newfound freedom is threatened, however, when Izzy's great aunt commands her to travel to London for a come out. Excuse me, Izzy has never wanted. Izzy, who is in poor health, is convinced she'll drop dead like her mother did if she drops into a curtsy before the queen. So when her great aunt turns out to be a nearsighted and can't tell the noble Lady Isabel from her commoner cousin Arabella, Izzy convinces Bella to take her place. Bella can attend all the exclusive entertainments that her lower birth would typically exclude her from, and Izzy can stay in bed, her nose in a book. So that sounds fun. So Bella ends up meeting the irresistible Lord Brooke. He begins courting her while under the impression she's the rich and aristocratic Lady Isabel, who, unlike Bella, is a suitable bride for an eligible, excuse me, young earl. And Bella, who's convinced that she has met Lord Wright, worries what will happen when she reveals he's actually fallen for the wrong lady. Hold just 1 second, guys. All right, sorry about that. I got a tickle in my throat. Hopefully I'm okay now. Okay, the next one is called Not in My Book, which is a contemporary romance. This comes out December 10th, and it's by Katie Holt. And the synopsis is: Rosie, an idealistic and passionate Peruvian American, leaves her Tennessee hometown to pursue her dream of making it in New York as a writer. But her plan is derailed when she ends up in class with her arch nemesis and ex-crush Aiden Huntington, an obnoxious, surly, and gorgeous literary fiction writer who doesn't have much patience for the romance genre or for Rosie. Rosie and Aiden regularly go to verbal battle and workshop until the professor reaches her breaking point. She allows them to stay in her class on one condition: they must co-write a novel that blends their genres. The reluctant writing duo can't help but put pieces of themselves into their accidentally steamy novel, and their manuscript in progress provides an outlet for them to confess their feelings and explore their attraction toward each other. When Rosie and Aiden find themselves competing against each other for a potential career-changing opportunity, the flames of old rivalry reignite, and their once-in-a-lifetime love story is once again at risk of being shelved, unless they can find a way to end the book on their own terms. So that sounds like it'll be cute. Okay. The next one is a fantasy. It might be historical fantasy. No, I think it's just fantasy. And it's called The Peculiar Garden of Harriet Hunt. Comes out December 3rd, and it's by Chelsea Iverson. So it says, true magic is found among the bluebells and brambles. Harriet Hunt is completely alone. Her father disappeared months ago, leaving her to wander the halls of Sunnyside House, dwelling on a past she'd rather keep buried. She doesn't often venture beyond her front gate, instead relishing the feel of dirt under her fingernails and of soft moss between her feet. Consequently, she's been deemed a little too peculiar for Victorian society. Okay, it is historical fantasy. This solitary life suits her fine, though, because outside, magic awaits. Harriet's garden is special. It's a wild place full of twisting vines, vibrant plums, and a quiet power that buzzes like bees. Caring for this place and keeping it from running rampant through the streets of her London suburb is Harriet's purpose. But a woman alone in a world is vulnerable. Soon a sinister plot involving her father's disappearance begins to take shape, with Harriet herself at its center. Everything she holds dear, from the thorny roses she tends to her very freedom itself, is at stake. To save herself, Harriet will have to unearth her past, discover the secrets of her garden, and finally embrace the wild magic inside of her. So it sounds like it could be good. Almost cozy. It feels like it could be a little bit of a cozy type of historical fantasy. Okay, the next one is, it's a historical fantasy too, set during World War II. It's called The French Winemaker's Daughter. Well, actually not. It's a historical fiction, not fantasy. So it's a historical fiction. Comes out December 10th and is by Loretta Ellsworth. And let's see. So it has dual timelines, and it says 1942, 7-year-old Martine hides in an armoire when the Nazis come to take her father away. Pinned to her dress is a note with her aunt's address in Paris, and in her arms a bottle of wine she has been instructed to look after if something happened to her papa. When they are finally gone, the terrified young girl drops the bottle and runs to a neighbor who puts her on a train to Paris. But when Martine arrives in the city, her aunt is nowhere to be found. Without a place to go, the girl wanders the streets and eventually falls asleep on the doorstep of Hotel du Rout. I think that's how you say it, where Sister Ada finds her and takes her to the Abbey and watches over her. Then the other timeline says 1990, Charlotte, a commercial airline pilot, attends an auction with her boyfriend Henry at Hotel du Rout, now the oldest auction house in Paris. Successfully bidding on a box of wine saved from the German occupation during the Second World War, Henry gives Charlotte a seemingly inferior bottle he finds inside the box. Cleaning the label, Charlotte makes a shocking discovery that sends her on a quest to find the origins of this unusual and very valuable bottle of wine, a quest that will take her 50 years into the past. So, sounds like it could be good. Okay. The next one is actually a mystery, and this mystery actually sounded pretty good to me. If you've been with me for any little bit now, I know I've said in past videos that I haven't really been into mystery books in the past year or so. I've started a bunch and then end up DNFing them. I just haven't been into mysteries. But this one sounded like it could be good, so I did add it to my list. It's called Booked for Murder, and it's by P.J. Nelson. It comes out December 10th. And this says, in this atmospheric Southern cozy debut, Madeline Brimley returns to the bookstore she inherited, discovering that small towns hold deadly secrets. So it's a cozy mystery. So it says, Madeline Brimley left small town Georgia many years ago to go to college and pursue her dreams on the stage. Her dramatic escapades are many, but success has eluded her, leaving her at loose ends. But then she gets word that not only has her beloved eccentric aunt Rose passed, but she left Madeline her equally eccentric bookstore, housed in an old Victorian mansion in a small college town of Enigma. But when she arrives in her beat-up Fiat to claim the old Juniper bookstore and restart her life, Madeline is faced with unexpected challenges. The gazebo in the backyard is set ablaze, and a late-night caller threatens to burn the whole store down if she doesn't leave immediately. But Madeline Brimley, not one to be intimidated, ignores the threats and soldiers on until there's another fire and a murder in the store itself. Now, with a cloud of suspicion falling over her, it's up to Madeline to untangle the skein of secrets and find the killer before she herself is the next victim. So it's about a bookstore. I'm a sucker for books that are about books and libraries and bookstores and that sort of thing. So it sounded like it could be good. Okay, the next one is called The Last One, and it's by Rachel Housel Hall. Comes out December 3rd. And this is a fantasy or a romantasy, one of those. It says, thrown into a desolate land of sickness and unnatural beasts, Kai wakes up in the woods with no idea who she is or how she got there. All she knows is that if she cannot reach the Sea of Devour, even this hellscape will get worse. But when she sees the village blacksmith fighting invaders with unspeakable skill, she decides to accept his offer of help. Too bad he's as skilled at annoying her as he is at fighting. So it looks like it could be good. Romantasy, fantasy book. Okay, the next one is actually a middle grade read. This one looked like it could be a good one, and so I was interested in it. It's called Hidden Truths. It's by Ellie Swartz, and it comes out December 10th. And it is about Danny and Eric have been best friends since Danny moved next door in second grade. They bond over donuts, comic books, and camping on the Cape until one summer when everything changes. Did Eric cause the accident that leaves Danny unable to do the one thing in the world she most cares about? The question plagues him, and he will do anything to get answers about the explosion that injured her. But Danny is hurting too much to want Eric to pursue the truth. She just wants to shut him out and move on. Besides, Eric has a history of dropping things he starts. Eric knows that and is determined that this will be the one time he follows through. But what if his pursuit brings him in direct conflict with another friend? Where does Eric's loyalty really lie? How far will you go to keep a promise? Told from alternating points of view, Hidden Truths is a story of changing friendships, the lies we tell, and the secrets we keep, and the healing power of forgiveness. So it sounds like it could be a really good middle grade book. Okay, next one is a YA romance. And this is by an author that I have read other books from. It's called Better Than Revenge. It's by Casey West, and it comes out December 31st. And this is about 17-year-old Finley has only ever had one goal: to become a famous podcaster. This includes coming up with a perfect pitch to land her on her school's podcast team. But when her football-obsessed boyfriend Jensen decides to also try out and uses her idea, she's left confused and betrayed. Determined to get back at him, Finley and her friends try to find the perfect revenge scheme, but quickly discover that Jensen is almost impossible to best. Keyword almost. By chance, Finley discovers a knack for kicking and decides to take Jensen's spot on the football team. To help her train, she recruits Jensen's cute but conceited nemesis Theo. Soon the two discover that their connection runs deeper than football. But Finley can't let herself get distracted, and Theo has secrets of his own. Is true love really better than the perfect revenge? That sounds like it'll be cute. And I do enjoy Casey West's books. They're cute, clean, fun, fluffy YA type books. Okay, the next one and last one is fiction. And this one looked like it's going to tug on my heartstrings for sure. It's called Eddie Winston is Looking for Love by Marianne Cronin. It comes out December 31st as well. And it says, Eddie Winston is 90 years old. He has lived and he has loved, but he has never been kissed. A true gentleman and incurable romantic, Eddie spends his days volunteering at a charity shop where he sorts through the donations of the living and the dead, preserving letters and tokens of love along the way. And it is here that he meets Bella, a troubled young woman who, at 24 years old, has just lost the love of her life. When Bella learns that Eddie is yet to have his first kiss, she resolves to help Eddie Winston finally find love, sparking an adventure that will take them to unexpected places and, they hope, bring Eddie Winston to the moment he has waited for all his life. So it says it's a tale of friendship and kindness that reminds us that those we love are never forgotten and it is never too late to try again. So that one sounds like it'll be very sweet. Like I said, it sounds like one that's going to tug on my heartstrings and probably make me cry, but it sounds really good. So that's it. Those are the 10 books I'm most interested in picking up that are releasing during the month of December. Let me know if any of these sound good to you, or if you have any other books that you recommend that are releasing in December that I didn't mention. I am always up to making my TBR larger, even though it is definitely large enough, but I'm always up for new books. So let me know down in the comments. And that's it, you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And please like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Until next time, TTFN. Ta-ta for now.